Welcome in. Good afternoon. It's the Ticket Punchers here on 96.1 FM, 1450 AM, Big X Sports Radio. I'm your host, Roman Kelly, taking you up till 6 o'clock here as we do Tuesday through Friday on the Ticket Punchers. I'm joined today by my co-host, Curtis Phillips, and we've got our other co-host, J.R. Anderson, joining up here any second now as he's still on his traveling trip. I think he's had a couple flights today and stuff. But, Curtis, how are you doing today, sir? Hope you're doing well. You hit a punch last night, so that's always good. But what's going on, my man?
Yes, sir. I'm doing good, Roman. Enjoying this nice weather while we can still. So, it's been a pretty nice day.
It has been nice. It's been very gorgeous out. I was doing a little bit of walking and stuff earlier this morning, running around and stuff. We had some sports on last night. We hit the Jacksonville State money line lean, but my Big X Big Bet did not hit, unfortunately, as we had, or the official punch that I had last night on the college football wasn't a good one. But you hit in the MLB game. I had a first 5-inning play that didn't hit in the MLB game. I rode with yours, but didn't cash mine, so broke even on that one. Let's get into, before we get into last night's plays, we've got J.R. Anderson joining as well here on the stream. What's going on, J.R.? Glad you could join up here as your busy day that you've got ahead of you today.
Hey, I'm just on the road back from Atlanta, so just getting back locked in with you guys. Hope everybody had a good couple days without me.
Did have a good couple days. It's time to punch some tickets now, go over the tickets that have been punched and do all that good stuff. I'm sure we're going to have a couple of texters here on the Game Day Men's Health text line. If you want to get in on the chat as well, we do get in on the chat, YouTube, X, either account. We'll get into those comments as well here. So, fellas, let's get into last night's plays. Unfortunately, we didn't give out JR's plays from last night, but he didn't have a game. It wasn't anything for the last night's games. He had some plays for tonight. I'm sure we're going to get those in as well that we're going to talk about. But Philly, we had the MLB game last night. Blue Jays, Mariners. We both had a first 5-inning prop. Get into that game a little bit and where your lean was and how that turned out for you on your first ticket punch of the night.
Yeah, so I had the first 5 over 3.5 runs. I just thought that line was a little bit too low. And, yeah, it seems like it was – I honestly didn't get to watch much of this game. If you was on the show yesterday, I had that Kentucky volleyball game
That's
at
right.
7. So I was getting notifications. I think Julio Rodriguez hit a 2-run bomb, to start off the game, bottom of the first, which was looking good for your bet, Roman. The Mariners, first 5. But this game was just a barrage of, runs. Both pitchers, seems like gave up a lot. So.
Yeah, Bieber did well, a lot better than I thought he was going to. He did still obviously give up some runs. I was thinking, they're going to pull him. Maybe they go to the bullpen early. Mariners got these 2 early runs. I thought we were looking great. I thought your play was also looking great. I had them on a 2-leg. Unfortunately, I did take them straights as well. But ticket punched right there last night for Curtis. We've got some plays that we're going to get into tonight. So we'll get into the records tomorrow, our weekly record and our overall record for tomorrow. We'll save that, just because we're going to have a lot of plays for tonight. JR, I know you've been doing a dig. I know you've been doing some research. I know you've got a few plays that you've already sent to us here tonight. Do you want to go over some plays and things that you're looking into tonight?
Yeah. I think the only ones that I had mentioned was Jamar Chase's over on receiving tonight. I like DK Metcalf's over on receiving tonight. He scored 4 touchdowns in the last 4 weeks consecutively, so I think he's going to have a major night. There's nobody out there that can guard that man. He's a freak, so easy yardage. I wouldn't play the touchdown. I'm staying away from his TD, even though it is very appealing. So I like both the primetime receivers for the yardage. My spicy one that I really love upon research from this morning is I really love Cincinnati plus first half spread. So I did a lot of research and their defense, holds true 85% of the time. They only had one game, which they missed this line by 1 point. So I like them to cover in this one. But I have a couple parlays as well. I'm driving, so I can't pull them up. I sent those to you, Roman, if you want to recap those.
Yeah, we'll get those pulled up here on the stream as well. We're looking at the receiving yards that JR's just mentioned, like he said, you can get I mean, the yardage lines aren't insane tonight. You've got Jamar Chase at 73, DK Metcalf at 68.5. I have watched that one go up, JR Curtis. DK Metcalf was sitting at 68.5 last night, already up to, or he was sitting at 66.5 last night, and it's already back up to 68.5 now. T. Higgins was sitting at 48.5 last night. He's dropped down to 46.5 on FanDuel. So we're seeing a little bit of line movement. DK Metcalf, Jamar Chase. I think T. Higgins gets involved early in that first half as they try to get some momentum early in that pass game. The run game not been doing a whole lot for the Bengals. Curtis, are you looking at anything here tonight as we get these parlays pulled up?
Yeah, I got a big knockout punch, bet of the night. I'm on, the secondary receiver on that Bengals lineup in T. Higgins. We already saw a Lazard guy. He's tackling T. Higgins in the first quarter, and I'm going to take his full game. Yesterday, I got it at 45.5. I've seen various different numbers, but I think this is just too low of a line. He's only got this 2 games, but we saw with his first game with Flacco, had 5 receptions, 8 targets for 62 yards. And historically against the Steelers, he's went over this 6 of the 8 games against the Steelers. 4 of those games, which he's had monster games going over the century mark in receiving yards. And yeah, Mike Gesicki, Tanner Hudson, tight ends out for the Bengals. And the wide receiver 3, Josivac, he had 3 drops last week. So I think Flacco's just going to try to get it to his main 2 guys in Higgins and Chase. So I love the over on T. Higgins, over 45.5 receiving yards.
I love it. Interesting stat I saw today, fellas, and I want to ask you guys if you're looking into this at all, if this is going to go into anything. Mike Tomlin in his Thursday night football career is 9-11. And on the road in those games, he's 2-9. So the Steelers and Mike Tomlin not having a whole lot of success. That paired with what's been happening in primetime, how much money I'm seeing come in on the Steelers for tonight. I mean, this is one of those weird ones, fellas, where I don't really want to take the Bengals to win just because I don't think they're the better team when I look at football top to bottom on both sides of the ball for these 2 teams. But there's been some weird stuff in primetime. Mike Tomlin's kind of prone to some weird stuff with the Steelers on Thursday nights in his history as a primetime team and on Thursday nights. Are we feeling the Bengals spread here? I mean, this has already been an official punch on the show, plus 5.5. Are we hitting this one heavy?
I'd say so. Like you said, what we've already seen primetime this year, on top of Mike Tomlin's, Thursday night football record, I think Steelers losing, it won't affect them as much. They're dropping to 4-2, still, at least 3 games above in that division. But Bengals, I think this is a very key game for them. They don't want to lose 5 straight, go to 2-5, so, and they're at home in the jungle. I think they are up for this one, and I could see them being a live dog.
I'm kind of feeling to take the live line there as well. We've got the parlay up that JR built. He got the profit boost 30%. So as we go through this parlay here, fellas, we've got the original odds sitting at plus 1,116 here, it looks like. JR, walk us through this a bit as we get this parlay up. We've got Aaron Rodgers, 175 plus receiving, as we just go through the Steelers players on this, passing. Aaron Rodgers, 1+ touchdown. You've got Jaylen Warren, 10 plus yards. Jaylen Warren, that's receiving, 40 plus yards rushing. Kenneth Gainwell, 10 plus yards receiving. That's the Steelers side. As we look at these Steelers props, I feel like, JR, you're kind of going with the safe route here on a lot of these, taking these odds down from what the original lines are. Are we just parlaying what we think safe with the guys that are going to have the high usage here?
Yeah, I mean, here lately, outside of injuries and, maybe a couple instances in prime time, most prime players I've covered outside of touchdown and scoring props. So, I mean, I think A-Rod is definitely going to get more than 175. So I had an alternate with him at 200. I do think he's going to sling it. I think DK is going to have a big rip, and or T is going to have, not T, secondary receiver for Pittsburgh will have a big rip. I had him for 40, but Warren, he's coming off of the knee injury. He's actually my secondary fantasy back with Jacobs. So I think Warren's due for a big night, but I kept everything, middle of the pack on rushing and receiving for him. But This is the safe one. Everybody on certain platforms should have a no sweat on FanDuel, I believe, and then also a 30% booster. So if you like the parlay overall, highly recommend using the no sweat. If you don't want to use your no sweat, or if you've already used it, then I would definitely recommend. But I have 7 out of 10 confidence on this one. This is my second official big one that I've built. The first one we cashed out, pretty big one. So this one I have the same confidence in, as long as everybody shows up and no injuries. So yeah.
Yep. And, primetime games are when you expect everybody to show up. You expect the game plan to be intensive. When you've got a Thursday night game, you've had to pinpoint exactly what the game plan is on your offensive side, what those play calls are going to look like. That's been the emphasis this week, I'm sure, because you've had less time when you have that short turnaround here on a Thursday night game. I'm with you here. So official punches we've got so far. JR's going with the Jamar Chase line sitting at 70+. He's going with DK Metcalf. Official line sitting at 65 or 68+ as well. I love those. Philly, JR, I'd like one thing for tonight, and that's a weird prop I've been looking at. Evan McPherson, 2+ field goals made. It's one of those weird ones. You've got to go get it on DraftKings. FanDuel doesn't really let you bet that. He hasn't done this yet this season. Only one game this season where he's had the opportunity, and he went 1 for 3. I believe one got blocked, and he shanked one. Fellas, McPherson's one of the best young kickers in the league. He's had a weird last couple of seasons after a really, really great rookie season. He still hit some really big kicks. He's hit a couple of game winners as well in the last couple of seasons. He's still one of the better kickers, I believe. I think this is going to be one of those weird games where, obviously, prime time, they're trying to make sure that they get their momentum early in this game. I feel like those first 2 drives for the Bengals are going to have a lot of pass plays in those. And I do think that there's a chance that Bengals pass the way up the field and they get stopped in a couple of times for a field goal. I think that McPherson does get 2 or 3 opportunities in this game because of the stops that the Steelers are able to get in field goal range. I also do think that the Steelers team has let up some yards in the pass game, though. It's not like they're just, completely they're going to shut down the other team from throwing the ball. I do think that they're going to get some stops. McPherson's going to come out. You've got Flacco out there. You're just more prone to getting down the field now than you were with Jake Browning. You're more prone to getting into enemy territory and into field goal range now that you've got Flacco. I think in a primetime game, they're going to be trying to have some big plays, get downfield, but ultimately the Steelers defense is going to hold up and be able to get a couple of stops or force a couple of field goals. And we're taking McPherson, 2+ made field goals at +105 right now on DraftKings. That's kind of where the big punch of the day is for me here in tonight's game. Fellas, are we looking at anything, any plus money teasers? Have we got any touchdown, anything that, not official big punches, but a little bit of plus money fun we're looking at for tonight? You want to go first, Curtis?
Yeah, so I told you I already took T. Higgins, his regular line. I also laddered him up for 50+ receiving and 60+ receiving for a little bit of plus money. I believe the 50+ got it at +102 on FanDuel. And then if you ladder him up, sprinkle maybe like a half unit, quarter unit on his 60+ at +162. I took those as well. Not mad at as JR said, a DK Metcalf touchdown. You can get that around +150. He's hit that in 4 straight. I don't see why he couldn't get, a touchdown over the top on, this Bengals secondary. So at those,
or a fade on the goal line. That Rodgers love that. Just throw it up for DK because he typically has the advantage in that corner end zone.
Yeah, and Bengals have some pretty shorter corners. I mean, DK's he's a monster, 6'4", 220 or so. So yeah, those are 2 plus money plays that I'm looking at. Not sure where.
So, Curtis, go over your official punches here. JR, we just mentioned yours. Curtis, what's your official punches in the Thursday night football game?
Yep. So Tuesday I dropped Bengals +5.5.
That's right.
And then today T. Higgins 45.5 receiving yards.
Love it. Fellas, we've got Lazard guy who's been tweeting. He's been a part of the show. We've asked him to, since he's been regularly being a part of the show, sending his picks in. We've been tailing him on a couple of things. We've incorporated a lot of what he's doing as well. I just want to give him a shout out, but also give him a mention just of what he's taken. He has a parlay that he sent out to us with us. He said, I'm with you, Philly, tonight on Cincinnati and Flacco 2+ for a little bit of plus money seems free. With the focus on wide receiver 1 and 2 in the red zone, give me Fant to get one of those touchdowns. He also has Darnell Washington is trending towards a takeover, but Arthur Smith can't really. We'll see what else he has here. Jonnu Smith with the early look. Darnell Washington gets a TD. So on his parlay, he's got Noah Fant anytime TD, Darnell Washington anytime TD, Joe Flacco 2+ touchdowns passing, over 1.5 Jonah Smith receiving yards in the first quarter, over 5.5 T. Higgins receiving yards in the first quarter as well. He's also taken T. Higgins minus over 6.5 before that line dropped. He got that on a profit boost. So Lazard got all over T. Higgins in the first quarter. He's also on a couple of touchdowns. Do we like the Noah Fant, Darnell Washington touchdowns, JR?
I like T. Higgins touchdown. Noah Fant can definitely score. I think it's going to be one of those games where it's just going to depend on field positioning and how well they can get up and down the field. As a offset bet, I do like Jonnu Smith for a touchdown. I know right now that was plus 300 something.
Yeah,
he's been wide open a lot, and I think he's finally getting the starting nod. I know they run Darnell in there for some run blocking and also some trickery, but Jonnu's starting to get really healthy, and so I really like him to at least have a target in the end zone, and it's just going to be up to him to whether he makes it happen or not.
You got to imagine, though, that if they get into the red zone, it's going to be Flacco getting 3 attempts, right? I mean, going up against the defensive line of the Steelers and Chase Brown not really getting much help with that push on the offensive line, I can't imagine they're going to give Chase Brown a lot of opportunities if they do get inside that 5, just because they've got that height advantage with Fant and Higgins. You've got to think that they're going to attempt. So I'm not mad at this. He's also got he got some straight bets. He threw down a couple of first touchdown scorers. He's got Drew Sample first touchdown scorer. He got that at plus 5,500. He also got Samaj P. Ryan plus 3,000 for a first touchdown score. And then obviously Noah Fant first touchdown score at plus 2,200. He's throwing $10 on all of these. Lazard's guy's trying to cash out here on the ticket punchers, and that's what we're trying to do with him as well. I'm going to tell you here on one of these anytime touchdowns. I'll throw a couple bucks on Noah Fant, see what he can do. But ultimately, I do like the Higgins receiving yards on the Bengals side. I think Chase is going to get his. I just think it's more of a throughout the game. You can't target Chase over and over and over. His defense is zoned in on him, but it's also one of those kind of receivers that you can only do so much. He's going to get a few catches. He's going to get a few, handful of yards after the catch. If you let him catch it and turn his body upfield, he's one of the best players in the league at that point, and he's going to show that. Not sure if he's going to really go crazy just because it's prime time. Some weird stuff always happens in prime time. I don't like to go crazy with the wide receiver ones in prime time just because you never really know. But I'm liking this. Shout out to Lazard guy. Fellas, anything else we're looking at? We've also got a college football game on tonight. Not a lot of people paying attention to college football. Tulsa and East Carolina. Weird games yesterday, obviously. But I don't really like Tulsa or East Carolina, if I'm being honest. I feel like the total's sitting right where it is. East Carolina should win this game and should win this game handedly, but when you're dealing with teams of this kind of caliber, 17-point spread is just too much for me on a weeknight game when, East Carolina and Tulsa are both teams that can be prone to turnovers and weird stuff. So I'm going to stay away from that one there tonight. We're going to be all on the Thursday Night Football. There is some MLB action, though. Philly, 6:08. We've got Brewers Dodgers right when we get off the air here. We've got Blue Jays Mariners at 8:33 p.m. I know you've got something in one of these games or a little two-leg or something lined up here for these MLB playoffs as we've got we got a game 3 with the Dodgers game tonight as they try to take that commanding 3-0 lead and virtually put that series away. And then obviously the Blue Jays in Seattle trying to fight back and even that series up after a crazy amount of runs last night. What are you feeling tonight, Curtis, sorry.
Oh, you're good. So surprisingly, I actually do not have a bet tonight in either one of those games. It's a day I'm kind of just trying to examine, how these teams come out. Dodgers, like you said, trying to take the commanding 3-0 lead. Brewers trying to not let that happen in LA. And then on the other side, we got Blue Jays, trying to even up the series against the Mariners. I'm not sure why Scherzer, I believe he's making his first postseason start this year.
He is.
So he hasn't started since like September 24th or so. So I mean, I do think the Mariners can get to him early. They've been getting to anybody. So, yeah, I'll lean both of the favorites. If I was to bet, maybe on the run line for both of those, because I know they're a little juicy, the money line. So just some, I guess, look ahead, but nothing I think I'll be betting unless I play something live.
Big X, big bet from earlier. So not an official punch on the ticket show, but an official bet that I gave out in the run-in with Roman show. I'm on the Tyler Glass now, under 15.5 recorded outs. I know this is kind of an interesting spot. It obviously means he's getting, out of that fifth inning. I do think that because Yoshi did go the complete game, if Glass now starts to waver and look not how they want him to early on, I do think that they're going to be willing to go into the bullpen just because everybody in that bullpen has an extra day of rest now, especially the guys that were you were predicting you may have to use last game. You didn't. They're ready to go now, even more rest. So I do think that if Glass now gets jammed up, which Milwaukee fighting for their lives here, they're going to be methodical in their swinging. They're going to be trying to make sure they can every ball they're not swinging at, every strike they're getting a bat on to, and anything down the middle they're trying to get into play. So I think Glass now is going to get. But I do think that they're going to have a pretty short leash because they want that 3-0 lead. They would love to take that 3-0 lead. That changes everything about how how teams game plan for you going forward. And you're pretty much in that series. So I think that because they're going to be willing to go into the bullpen due to the rest that they've got and guys being able to get that extra day of work, I think Glass now gets pulled before that 16th out does come. I also am projecting that to stay pretty low. I think the Mariners bounce back here. I think the Mariners bounce back and get a win. I'm not going to make that an official punch just because there is a prop that I am liking. Castillo's on the mound. Scherzer's on the mound. I mean, Scherzer, I think it's a crazy decision to put him in this first start in a game like this when you need to win it. I mean, it's not a must-win game, but no one wants to go down 3-1. And you're in Seattle. If you can steal this one, it really just gives yourself a chance when you go back. That being said, Luis Castillo, I do think that he's going to get a good amount of time out there. I think when he's been great. He's been great this season. He's been pretty good. I like his 4+ Ks, but I'm going to take the 5+ as a plus money prop. You can get his 5+ strikeouts right now at +132. So we're going to make that an official punch for me here on the Ticket Punchers for tonight. I'm on the Luis Castillo 5+ strikeouts going up against the Blue Jays with Scherzer on the mound. Fellas, that's all I've got. Anything else? Anything else we need to get into? Anything else we need to look at in the night of sports as I pull up these texts on the Game Day Men's Health tech line?
You got anything, JR?
Yeah, I'm pulling up something right now. I do like our guy Muncy for one hit, and I do like Cal for a hit in the Blue Jays game. And my last leg. My last official leg was Cincinnati Bengals first half spread +3.5 on top of Jamar's over, DK's over, Muncie a hit, Cal Riley a hit. All 5 parlayed together is +1288. So play straight and then also take the lay.
You're 2 for 2 on hits. You got the Teo Oscar, you got Freddie Freeman late, and when you gave that bet out, I believe that was game 1. Shout out to you on the hits. I'm telling Raleigh, that's a good spot there. I think that he's kind of due. It feels like I feel like he had an RBI last night. He had a pop up. He was getting good contact on the bat, but he's not getting that swing that he really, really wanted. And I think that's coming tonight, especially with Scherzer. With Scherzer on the mound, he could get really.
I think actually the last 9.
A lot of information from those first 8 guys to give to the big dumper there. He can be ready. He can be ready on his first AB to make to end Scherzer's day right there. That's what we want. That's what I want. I
like Cal's interesting because he's 8 for 9, and then Muncie is also 4 or 5. So I love both in those spots.
I love it. Muncie I believe he got one last game as well. He hits better at home for some reason. He likes hitting at home, even though it's technically a pitcher-friendly park. But, fellas, this is going to pretty much wrap us up here. I'm not in any other place for tonight. I had a rough night in NHL last night. I was on the Panthers as a lean there. Crazy game. Hockey can just be so unforgiving when it gets down to the end of the game.
Empty nets,
the empty nets, that costed me on one. I think I had an under on something yesterday that empty net messed it up. got to stay away from the hockey just because things will go for the first 2 periods how you think they will, but because the game's close, it gets hectic there at the end. But, fellas, this is going to wrap us up here on our radio portion of the Ticket Punchers. Stay tuned. We can send our stream on for a few minutes after this for our YouTube and X listeners. But, fellas, thank you all so much. We're going to go punch some tickets. We're going to go make some things happen tonight. We're also going to go make sure that we get some good plays out for tomorrow as well because we've got a big weekend ahead of us. But this is going to wrap us up. JR, Curtis, anything else before we get out of here?
No,
Punch
let's
those
go punch some
tickets.
tickets.
Let's go punch those tickets. Thank you all. Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all so much for tuning in here to the Ticket Punchers. We'll be back tomorrow, 5:30 to 6, right here on the Big X.
You on the road, JR?
I actually just walked in the house.
Cool.
I am.
All right. Welcome back in. Philly, JR, now here live, just on YouTube, just on X, both on the Big X and the Real Spiel YouTube pages, and of course my personal X page. Fellas, we've got our big punches out. We've got our official punches. So now really just if there's anything we missed or anything we want to get into, we can do it obviously a lot more casually here. There is a text that we had on the text line that I didn't get to. I'm sure Lazard guy's probably tuned in still. He knows that we go live. We stay live after the radio shift hours. But Lazard guy does say in the chat, looked at Darnell Washington receiving yards ladder, but I just couldn't pull the trigger with Johnny Smith still getting looks. Both Pittsburgh tight ends, first team reception are a fun play. Pretty much only competing with DK to cash. Use the DraftKings no sweat on Fant 2 TDs. I agree with you, other than the fact that I feel like Rodgers loves to check down to Gainwell. I feel like he's quick to throw that check down to the running back as well on that first reception. He's obviously trying to go to DK or the tight end. If one of them isn't where he goes, he'll get to that check down quick because he hates sacks. That's my only worry about first team reception being one of the Pittsburgh tight ends when you are competing with DK. I feel like the first target goes to DK, but the reception is a little scary.
Yeah, I like first quarter. I mean, on the first quarter prop, they had him at. Let me pull it up. Give me 1 second. Is my first quarter. All right, so the Jonnu 5 for the first quarter, Fant 5, DK 5, Chase 5, Gainwell 5, 4 out of the last 6. Chase 5, Warren 10. First quarter rushing and receiving 3 of 3. Last 3 games, Chase Brown 15, 10 of 14. A-Rod 40 yards first quarter. T. Higgins 5. And these are all 70, 80 percentile. So I mean, pick your poison. They're all really good options. I mean, I like to stay with the heavy hitters. I know first quarter wise, John New would definitely get a check down. Metcalf will get one. Gainwell as well, since Warren is not effective. I mean, Warren's definitely going to get the 10 receiving and rushing. It'll just come down to the Bengals side and how the defense or how the offense is responding to the Steelers defense and what they're giving them and what they're taking. So, both running backs, man, overall are due for a big, big day. The run games and on both of these teams completely have, dropped off this year compared to previous years. Steelers losing Najee Harris. Warren's a starter now, coming off of injury last couple of weeks, and then Chase Brown just hasn't looked like Chase Brown since, last season, really. But also the Joe Burrow asterisk, is lingering over that offense. But, this is Flacco's second game. So I'm looking for him to feel a little bit more comfortable and them start to really iron out what their identity is. So, I mean, I think all of the heavy hitters on both sides should do very well in the first quarter as long as we can get some long, sustained drives or multiple possessions. Most teams average about 2.5 possessions in the first quarter. So if we can get a quick score and, either or, whoever gets the ball first, these teams go on some decent drives, don't take up 9 minutes of the quarter clock, and then change over possession, and then we cover at least 2 out of the couple legs on the second drive as well, and then it comes down to the nail biters. But I mean, there's really not a bad first quarter prop out there.
I like it.
I'm not mad at. Oh, go ahead, Roman. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say I've got these 3 leg here for this game. It's 3 legs coming out to plus 141. I wanted to see what you guys thought about it. It's T. Higgins 30+ receiving yards, Jamar Chase 5+ receptions, and then the third leg is Jamar Chase or DK Metcalf anytime TD. The Chase Brown guy who hit that slip a couple weeks ago, I've been in his Telegram for years. He just sent this in as a 3 leg that he said he's on tonight, and it got a bunch of fire emojis on it. Chase Brown always has
money. I love that.
I don't know about the something. Jamar Chase 5+ receptions. Like, I feel like it's. Are they gonna be, if they can get the ball up and down the field, if they've got a little bit of a run game, they're gonna have the ball way more than I think the books plan for them to. And then I love it. If Chase Brown's getting nothing, there's gonna be more 3 and outs. And I don't know. I
love the 5+. Flacco,
same.
He likes to get it to his
the guy he knows he can trust.
He had 12 targets last week. First game. He's gonna try to force feed it, I think, to Chase and Higgins. And I think Deshaun Elliott safety's out for Steelers.
Yeah, I saw that.
Short week. I mean, you still got some pretty old corners in Slay and Ramsey. Although they're still decent in their career, I think he's gonna get his. I think. I mean, even with Browning, he was getting 5+ receptions, every game. So I wouldn't be worried about the 5+.
Yeah, no, the 5 would definitely cover. But also, we got to realize Flacco flew economy all the way back to Cincinnati, and he had just gotten off the plane before this game. So this week, after having some practice under his belt and some, time to build some rapport with his two top dogs and his back and his offense and his OC, and they can implement some stuff and actually game plan those first couple drives. I think for Chase, we have nothing to worry about. Chase will get open. If any concerns, it'll be the run game and the O line. That's the only thing we can never really predict with these types of teams. But if they're blocking, Flacco will get the job done.
Lazar guy in the chat, he says, if any listeners like Pittsburgh in this game, look at Bengals win first half, Steelers win game. They do that often under Tomlin. They do that often under Tomlin. Love going down to the
that's exactly what I was playing. The +3.5 is actually -120. So the Bengals are favored on the half money line, and then Steelers, of course, favored for the prime time matchup. But that's exactly what I was taking. I just did not want to see the full game out because things have been weird. So I'm gonna take the half lay if you're gonna give it to me.
I love it. I love that a lot. I didn't realize that they already knew. So we're going maybe potentially first half Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, I think the Bengals. I
got a weird feeling that Bengals they're going to come out and win this game. I love the Bengals.
Flacco's due for one, man. We got to remember Flacco. Flacco's capable of a 400-yarder and 3-4 slings in there. He's capable. It's just confidence. The line kind of helps it. So here's what you got to realize: both of these teams are top 5 in substituting the run game for the short passing game. The Steelers lead the league in underneath yardage, so they get the ball out quick because there's no run game. The Browns are starting to adapt to that same scheme, and so instead of running the ball, what you do is you do quick outs with your backs and flare routes. So they do a check down for 3 yards and then allow him to try to do something with it, or you fake it to the flats and then throw a slant or RPO, something like that. But both of these teams do it really well. So that's what they're substituting the bad run game with. So it allows quick passes to get out, but it also allows the receivers, the backs, and the tight ends to get upfield quicker. And that's where these big explosive plays come from, like the DK slants over the middle. You can't guard it. And then as soon as you think that they're going to go underneath, they go over the top. So it'll be interesting.
And I think strength of schedule really matters in the NFL. So I'm gonna use 2 examples from the past week to where you had what you thought was 2 really good teams, and then they lose outright. The first
Bills ain't beat anybody good.
Literally, yep, that was my second example. The first one, Lions, 4-1. People wondering why they're underdogs against the Chiefs. We saw the first game, they got manhandled by the Packers, and then they see the Bears, the Bengals, the Browns, and I forget who else. Oh, the Ravens. We know how the Ravens are right now. Like that's not a tough strength of schedule. And you see when they go into Arrowhead, they just wasn't. Granted, they was a couple plays away from probably winning that game, but you just saw the Chiefs kind of manhandle them. And then the Bills, that second example, had played. Patriots might be the best team they played all season, but they played the Dolphins, the Jets, and all these Saints. All these games were at home, and they didn't even look impressive, in those games. And then they go on the road to the Falcons, lose outright. I think it's just one of those games. Steelers really haven't played. I mean, they saw the Seahawks, got beat. Saw the Pats, came down to a game-winning touchdown. But other than that, like you've seen the Jets, you've seen the Browns. Like you really ain't seen nobody. I'm not saying the Bengals are some great opponent, but it's just a tough environment to play in. Short week, you got to travel on the road. I think Bengals they needed this win way more, so I think they'll be up for it.
I think they
also,
will.
When you're in division, dude, games get weird. They just do. And Tomlin making those comments, about why would you trade, a quarterback in division. There's going to be some tempers flaring. So, both of these coaches want to win this game. So it's going to be spicy. We just need, both sides of the ball and each to, hold up and make sure it's not a blowout one way or another. But it'll be a good game.
All right, fellas, that's pretty much it. If there's anything else we're missing, anything else we feel like we need to get in there, I don't think we got anything in the chat at the moment other than Lazar Guy was sitting in. Shout out to Lazar Guy, being an avid member of the Ticket Puncher show.
Yeah,
but
shout out.
I think that's it for us here. A lot of Thursday night football talk because that's what it is here in the NFL season. Thursday night prime time. That's what you get on when you're betting. That's where the money's at. So, fellas, let's go punch some tickets.
Yeah, let's go punch some tickets.
Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoy. Send it to your friends. Send it to your family group chats. We'll be back tomorrow, 5:30 to 6, and potentially later. Well, we've got U of L game tomorrow and a lot of stuff.
We sure do.
We're not going to compete with any pregame shows, but we'll get it all out in the 5:30 to 6 time slot tomorrow. Thank you all for listening here. It's been the Ticket Punchers on WXVW 96.1 1450 Big X Sports Radio and the Real Spiel podcast, and of course Junkyard Dogs.